Greetings, Mantaray79 here, and I'm back with another deck profile video for the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game. In today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be doing one for is D standard formats. Dragon Empires, Dragonic Overlord the End with Drilling Dragon, Baryodignil. Alrighty then, let's get started. First, the Ride deck. And first off, the cards in the deck, we're going with the Ride deck first. For the cards in this Ride deck, we have the Grade 0, Lizard Runner Undu. The Grade 1, Embodiment of Armor, Bar. The Grade 2, Dragonite Nehalem. And finally, the Grade 3, Dragonic Overlord, The End. The Grade 0, starting unit, Lizard Runner Undu. Like any other starting unit in the D standard format, he features only one skill. When written on top of, if you're the second to go to Grade 1, you get to draw a card. The Grade 1, Embodiment of Armor Bar. His skill is, as a Vanguard, when written on top of by Dragonite Nehalem, you may counterblast 1 and search your deck for any Grade 1 unit to add to your hand. So ideally, most people like to use this first skill to add a perfect guard to their hand or any other great one that they mainly like to use for their later game strategies. The Grade 2, Dragonite Nehalem. His skills are, the first skill, as a Vanguard, when written on top of by an Overlord, you may move Nehalem from your soul to the rear guard. So for this first skill, it's a good way to secure yourself a rear guard Nehalem whose skill and as a rear guard will later support your Vanguard Overlord. The Grade 3, Dragonic Overlord, The End. His first skill is, during your turn, if you have Dragonic Overlord in your soul, The End gets plus 5,000 power and his drive check cannot be reduced. But since I don't play Dragonic Overlord in this deck, I won't bother explaining more about this first skill. So next, let's go to the second skill. As a Vanguard, once per turn, after attacking, you may counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards from your hand. By paying this cost, you may stand your Vanguard at the additional penalty of reducing your Vanguard's drive check by 1. So as for the second skill, it's a standard restanding ability for the Overlord series. Paying cost to restand your Vanguard and attacking multiple times with your Vanguard. And with that, we just about covered all the cards in the Ride deck. So next, let's go to the main deck. And now, for the cards in the main deck. For the main deck, let's start with the Grade 1 lineup. For the great ones in this deck, we have 3 Ignite Blow Dragons, 4 Dragon Monk Gojos, 2 Stealth Dragon Togachi Rashi, and 4 Twin Buckler Dragons. The Grade 1, Ignite Blow Dragon. His skill is, as a rearguard or a guardian, if you have a Grade 3 in your soul, Ignite Blow gets plus 2,000 power and 5,000 shield. So as long as you've managed to secure a Grade 3 in your soul, Ignite Blow can serve as either a 9,000 power attacker or booster from the back row, or a 5,000 power, a 10,000 power shield from your Guardian Circle. The Grade 1, Dragon Monk Gojo. His skill is, after boosting a successful attack from your Vanguard, you may retreat Gojo from your own rearguard and countercharge 1. So as for this skill, it's basically what I just said. It's a countercharger for the Dragon Empire series. By boosting your Vanguard's attack, and if it's a successful hit, you may retreat Gojo from your back row and countercharge 1, refunding for additional counterblast later on. The Grade 1, Stealth Dragon, Togajirashi. His skill is, during your turn, when discarded from your hand, instead of going to the drop zone, Togajirashi instead moves to your soul. So this card is a good skill to have despite having only 7,000 power, since his skill can be used for paying for the discard cost for riding from the ride deck, or for Dragonic Overlord, the end's discard from hand cost to restand, seeing as how you can then use Togajirashi's skill to restock your Vanguard Soul when you discard them from your hand. And now, the Great One, Twin Buckler Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, his activation and skill is the same. When used to guard with, you may discard one card from your hand and completely block one enemy attack. But as a D standard format Perfect Guard, he also has an additional ability. When used to guard with, if you have less than 2 cards in your hand, you do not have to pay any hand cost to do the Perfect Guard. So it's also a last resort defense in case you have very few cards in your hand, and then Twin Buckler can more or less block an opponent's attack by not paying any cards cost from your hand. And with that, you just about covered the deck's Grade 1 lineup. So next, let's go to the Grade 2 lineup. And now, the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we have 3 Dragon Knight Nihilums, 4 Burning Horn Dragons, and 3 Perforate Burner Dragons. The Grade 2 Dragon Knight Nihilum. His skill is, the second skill, as a rear guard, once per turn, if your Vanguard is an Overlord, you may Soul Blast 1. If the cost has been paid, the Nihilum who paid for this skill and your Vanguard Overlord get plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. So as for the second skill, it's a support one for Dragonic Overlords, since by simply having your Nihilum in the rear guard by Soul Blasting 1, the Nihilum who paid for the cost and your Vanguard Overlord get plus 5,000 power, making both their attacks more likely to hit. And it's also known that you can also stack the ability of Nihilum, though not on his own. For example, if you have managed to call multiple copies of Dragon Knight Nihilum onto your rearguard, you may pay the cost for each one to stack more power to your Vanguard, for the cost of Soul Blast 1 for each one. The Grade 2, Burning Horn Dragon. His skills are, the first skill, when called onto the rear guard, you may counterblast 1. If the cost has been paid, you may check the top 7 cards of your deck for an Overlord and add it to your hand. And in the situation where if you fail to add an Overlord to your hand by this unit skill, you may refund the counterblast that you paid for this skill by countercharging 1. As for this first skill, simply by calling Burning Horn and counterblasting 1, you have the chance to check the top 7 cards of your deck for an Overlord to add to your hand to either ride or call or persona ride or do any other cost you'd use an additional Dragonic Overlord for. And the best part about this first skill is, in the chance you are unable to add an Overlord to your hand, you may countercharge 1, which is more or less a refund for the cost if you fail to add the specified card. And then the second skill of Burning Horn Dragon, when your Vanguard Overlord attacks, Burning Horn gets plus 5,000 power. So effectively, as long as your Vanguard Overlord makes an attack, Burning Horn will get plus 5,000 power for each attack, which is the best part since Dragonic Overlords specialize in restanding your Vanguard and attacking multiple times with your Vanguard. So simply by restanding once and attacking twice your Vanguard, Burning Horn on his own can serve as either a 15,000 power attacker or 20,000 power attacker, depending if you've managed to restand your Vanguard or not. The Grade 2, Perforate Burner Dragon. His skill is, during your battle phase, if discarded from your hand, instead of going to the drop zone, you can instead move Perforate to your soul and choose 1 unit on your field, and it gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. So Perfect Burner Dragon is more or less a support card for Overlords who require that you discard cards from your hand to restand. So for example, if you use Dragonic Overlord's the end skill to restand by counterblasting 1 and discarding 2, if you've managed to discard Perfect Burner Dragon as the cost, you can move Perfect Burner to the soul and give any unit in your field either a Vanguard or a Rearguard plus 5,000 power. So overall, Perfect Burner Dragon is a support card for Overlords to add power to your units and to restock your soul, simply by discarding him during your battle phase. And with that, we've just about covered the deck's Grade 2 lineup. Next, let's go to the Grade 3 lineup. And now, for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we have 3. Dragonic Overlord the End, and 4. Drilling Dragon, Baryodignil. The Grade 3, Dragonic Overlord the End, the main Grade 3 to ride in this deck. Since I've already explained the end skills during the ride deck part of this video, I'm just gonna skip on to the next Grade 3. The Grade 3, Drilling Dragon, Baryodignil. His skill is, as a rearguard, after attacking, you may move Baryodignil to your soul. By doing so, you may choose one of your rearguards, and it gets plus 5,000 power till the end of the turn. So Baryodignil is a more or less a 13,000 power attacker from your front row, and also after attacking, you have the option of moving him to your soul and then giving a rearguard on your field plus 5,000 power. Though not a support card mainly for Overlords, it's still a pretty good card to have since he can more or less still attack on his own and then go to the soul afterwards, making him a good way to restock your Vanguard soul. Not to mention giving one of your rear guards plus 5,000 power. In my personal experience, it's a good way to give Burning Horn Dragon more power. And also, in defensive terms, he's also a good way to more or less counteract against opponents' strategies and units that specialize in targeting your front row, perhaps fellow Overlord users, for example. So, despite being not mainly used for Overlords, Baryodignil can still be used with Overlords. And with that, we've just about covered the Grade 3 lineup of this deck. Next, let's go to the Trigger lineup. And now the trigger line of this deck. For the triggers in this deck, we have 1. Dragon Deity Resurgence, Drag Vita, Over Trigger. 4. Burning Flail Dragons, critical triggers. 3. Conduct Spark Dragons, critical triggers. 4. Flare Veil Dragons, draw triggers. And finally, 4. Stealth Fiend, Amavira, heal triggers. The Grade 0, Dragon Deity Resurgence, Drag Vita, Over Trigger. The Over Trigger for the D standard formats, Dragon Empire. His skill is, when revealed during a drive check or a damage check, you may give one of your units 100 million power and draw 1 card. The standard skill of all Over Triggers, but there's an additional ability for Drag Vita. When revealed during a drive check, you may stand your Vanguard. So overall, as an Over Trigger, Drag Vita is a pretty great one, since his skill not only gives the usual bonuses of an Over Trigger of 100 million power and drawing 1 card, you can also restand your Vanguard, which works well with Dragonic Overlords that specialize in restanding your Vanguard. So by my opinion, Drag Vita is still a pretty good card for your D standard and premium formats. The Grade 0, critical trigger, Burning Flail Dragon. His skill is, as a rearguard, after boosting an attack, you have the option of moving your rearguard Burning Flail to the soul. By doing so, you may give 1 unit on your field, plus 2,000 power. So, Burning Flail Dragon is a pretty good card to boost from your back row, since he can also be moved to your soul and give one of your units in the field a Vanguard or a rearguard plus 2,000 power. But also, he's still a decent card to guard with the usual 15,000 power shield. So, Whether you choose to guard with him or to boost and restock your soul with him depends on your personal playstyle. In my personal experience, both ways still work great for this card. The Grade 0, draw trigger, Burning Flare Veil Dragon. His skill is, when placed on the Guardian Circle, if your Vanguard is a Grade 3 or higher, during the guarding of this unit, it gets plus 5,000 shield. So overall, as long as you've managed to ride to Grade 3, when you choose to guard with Flare Veil, he can function as a 10,000 power shield on his own, which works great since most other draw triggers in the D standard formats are usually just plain 5,000 shields on their own. The Grade 0, heal trigger, Stealth Fiend, Amavira. Her skill is, when used to guard with, if the attacking unit has already attacked twice or more during the battle, Amavira gets plus 15,000 shield. So unlike most heal triggers in the D standard format that feature 15,000 base shield on its own, this unit's skill makes up for only having 10,000 shield, since her skill is, when you guard with her, if the attacking unit has attacked twice or more during this turn, she'll become a 25,000 shield on her own. A good countermeasure in defense against cards that specialize in restanding and attacking of your units, like perhaps fellow Dragonic Overlord users or Bastion users or Bruce users. So again, despite having slightly less shield than average heal triggers, her skill works great in my personal experience. And with that, we've just about covered the deck's trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we have 1 over trigger, 7 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. And with that, I've just about finished explaining the deck build and the card effects. Now let's get on to the deck's main playstyle. So as for the main playstyle of this deck is to mainly ride the cards from your right deck, Undu, Bar, Nehalem, the End, then move Nehalem from the soul to the rear guard, calling your support units, Baryodignil, Burning Horn Dragon, and possibly Gojo and Ignite Blow Dragon. In your battle phase, attack. Wait, sorry about that. Over here. First attack with Baryodignil. After that, move Baryodignil to the soul. With a grade 3 in your soul, Ignite Blow will serve as a 9,000 point booster from the back row or a 10,000 point shield for guarding with. Then simply attack with the End. Then using his restanding skill to discard either Perforate Burner Dragon or Tokachirashi. Because with their skills from being discarded from your hand, they'll move to the soul, which can later be used for soul blasting by Nehalem. And then also by attacking multiple times with Overlord, you'll be able to stack power onto Burning Horn with his own skill. And with that, that's just about the main way to play this deck. Right, all the cards from the right deck. Attack with Perfect Burner, move into the soul, turn your Ignite Blow into a 9,000 point attacker booster or a 10,000 point shield. Then when attacking with Overlord and discarding cards from your hand to restand him, try to have a Tokachirashi or Perfect Burner in your hand to discard with for the hand cost to give 5,000 power to either your Vanguard or rear guard, or to simply restack your soul with cards, and to also have a Burning Horn on your front row to attack with, since he gets power when your Vanguard attacks. And with that, we've just about covered the main play style of this deck. And here we are at the end. I've just about finished explaining everything from the deck build, card effects, and play style. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and I also hope you stay tuned to more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show your support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all soon.